I survived 20 days in Minecraft Skyblock. Instead of the usual Minecraft world, I got a floating island, a single tree, a starter chest, and endless void all around. But this world is filled with custom dungeons, islands, and constant danger of death. So my goal is to turn this tiny island into a huge and powerful base. If you're interested, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's go! And so our survival begins. First of all, I surveyed the islands around us. On the first island, I noticed some kind of chest. Maybe there's something interesting inside. But on the second island, I saw something even better. A small pig was running around there, which we could eat to restore our hunger. I also noticed sugarcane on one of the islands. Using it, we'll be able to make books and enchant our tools in the future. Besides that, I spotted another chest not far from us. All of this is great, of course, but we still need to figure out how to get there, because between us and the islands lies an endless void. First, I started breaking leaves since they can drop a tree sapling, which we desperately need right now. After that, I immediately decided to chop down the tree that was growing on our island. In the end, we got one sapling from it, which I planted right away so that a new tree would start growing as soon as possible. Next, I ran to our chest. Inside, I found a small amount of resources. Bread so we could have something to eat, and most importantly, a bucket of lava and a bucket of water. I moved all the resources into my inventory. From the wood we obtained, I crafted my first tool, a wooden pickaxe. After that, I decided to create an infinite cobblestone generator using the buckets we found earlier. After digging a small hole, I poured lava and water into it, and when they came into contact, the first cobblestone appeared. Now we can easily mine it using our wooden pickaxe. We should hurry since the day is already coming to an end. Little by little, I began mining cobblestone, and each time there was more and more of it. When we had 9 pieces in our inventory, I decided to run back to the crafting table to finally craft a stone pickaxe. Once it was ready, we no longer needed the wooden pickaxe, so I simply threw it away. With the stone pickaxe, we can mine cobblestone much faster, so I immediately got back to work. When we had almost half a stack, I decided to craft a wooden axe and spent all the remaining cobblestone on crafting stone slabs. With their help, we'll be able to expand our territory. But first, I decided to mine all the dirt blocks that weren't of much value, since we can use them to expand the area where we'll grow trees. By this time, night had already fallen, and I noticed skeletons starting to appear on the other islands. It's better not to run into them right now, since we could easily die, so I decided to spend the rest of the time mining cobblestone. After a while, the night began to come to an end. I crafted a hoe, tilled the soil, and planted the seeds we had in the chest. When they grow, we'll be able to get wheat. After that, I took our stone slabs and decided to build a path to the nearest island. Berries were growing there, so I collected them right away. We still need to eat. I also started breaking leaves in search of saplings, and we got lucky. In the end, we had 4 saplings in our inventory. After chopping down all the trees on the island and looking into the chest, I found 4 more saplings as well as 1 gold ingot. I broke the chest, took it with me, and collected all the dirt to expand our main platform. In total, we ended up with a full stack of dirt, which I immediately used to increase our territory. After some time, the island became quite large, and I began planting saplings. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough space for all of them, and we still had 3 saplings left. But there's no need to be upset. That's more than enough. After that, I continued mining cobblestone and turned it into stone slabs, which I used to fence off all the saplings. By this point, the first tree we planted had already grown, so I chopped it down and collected new saplings. While I was putting items into the chest and turned around, I noticed something red on the leaves. It turned out to be an apple. I was very hungry, so I ate it right away. By this time, the island already looked pretty good. We had our own storage area and a small garden where we could grow trees and wheat. Unfortunately, the second day was coming to an end, and we still didn't have a bed, so I went back to mining cobblestone. During that time, our first stone pickaxe even managed to break. After chopping down another tree, I remembered that we had berries in our inventory and decided to plant them to provide ourselves with additional food. When I turned around and looked at the neighboring islands, I noticed mobs starting to appear there, so I quickly blocked off the path so they wouldn't be able to reach us. While continuing to mine cobblestone, I noticed that the third day had already begun. When the sun rose, Several skeletons caught fire and burned completely after a while. We still didn't have enough cobblestone, so I had to keep mining. By this time, the wheat had already grown. I harvested it and once again went to finish building the bridge. When I finally reached the next island, I saw chickens and a pig there, and melons were growing all around. I immediately collected them and replenished our food supply. A huge tree was growing in the center of the island. I decided to climb to the very top and started chopping it down from top to bottom. Luckily, the axe broke exactly when I reached the very top, and from there, I could see all the islands around us. Since there was nothing else to do on this island, I returned home to craft a fence. I planned to breed chickens. After building a small pen, I took some seeds and used them to lure the chickens straight into the enclosure. The third day was coming to an end, but we already had our own animals, and that made me very happy. When night fell and many mobs appeared on the islands, I blocked their access so they couldn't harm us. And the very next day, I began planning the construction of my own house. Unfortunately, we ran out of cobblestone, so I went back home and spent the entire day gathering the necessary resources. By evening, I decided to slightly redesign our garden and planted huge trees that we had found on one of the recently explored islands. Our chickens laid one egg, but unfortunately, nothing hatched from it. As soon as night fell, I decided to continue building our house. But just as I started putting up a wall, a spider attacked me. Luckily, I managed to fight it off with our axe. After that, I decided to speed things up because it wouldn't take long to die like that. After some time, the roof of our house was finally completed. I ate a bit of bread to restore my health and decided to wait for daytime, while at the same time increasing our food supply and making new farm plots. When the sun finally rose above the horizon, I continued exploring our world and decided to build a bridge to the next island. There was sand there, which we needed to make windows. Unfortunately, there was a zombie on that island, but I skillfully dealt with it using our axe. After checking the chest, I found 10 blocks of obsidian, after which I returned to our island and stored all the Debate materials. While it was still daytime, I decided to improve our island a bit. I created an infinite water source so we could easily collect water, and also spent almost the entire day building an upgraded version of the cobblestone generator. Now we can mine cobblestone twice as fast without wasting time waiting for new stone to appear. As a result, I spent the whole night mining cobblestone, occasionally looking around to make sure no monsters got close to us. When I had mined enough stone, the new day still hadn't begun, so I decided to pass the time by finishing the roof of the house. But suddenly, I heard an explosion. It turned out a creeper had exploded not far from our house. Fortunately, the house itself wasn't damaged. While continuing construction, I noticed that we had run out of wood. Since the new trees hadn't grown yet, I decided to go back to mining stone. While doing that, I noticed something lying on our bridge. It turned out to be bones, apparently dropped by a skeleton that had burned in the sun. I quickly turned them into bone meal and used it to speed up the growth of our trees, after which I returned to mining cobblestone again. As soon as I had gathered the required amount, I processed the stone into slabs and finally finished the bridge to the ore island. After reaching it, I immediately started mining coal and every resource that caught my eye. In the center of the island, I found iron, gold, diamonds, and other ores. This was great news because with them, we'd be able to build a nether portal. After some time, I collected all the necessary resources and headed to the island with the pig to dig up some more dirt and expand our garden. While digging, I unexpectedly discovered a secret room. After checking the chest, I didn't find anything particularly valuable except for a lead. I took all the resources, collected the dirt, and decided to use the lead to bring the pig to our island. I built a separate pen for it next to the chicken coop. When night fell, I blocked off all the passages for monsters, but unfortunately, one of them still managed to get through and blew up half of the house. I was very upset. The only thing that made me feel better was that our animals survived. Later, I realized that there wasn't enough lighting on the island, so I placed torches to prevent mobs from spawning anymore. After that, I finally led the pig into its pen and continued working, because now we had to restore the destroyed house. During the process, I noticed that a huge number of mobs had gathered on one of the islands, so I decided to move on to a new stage: iron tools. First of all, I crafted an iron pickaxe to mine diamonds, and then went to deal with the monsters. I carefully eliminated them one by one. By that time, day had finally come, and I returned to the Diamond Island, where I mined a large number of diamonds. Our island kept expanding, so I began building new bridges to other islands. On one of them, I collected all the sugarcane and resources from the chest. Now we can finally grow sugarcane to make books. As the day was coming to an end, I upgraded our mob trap, and my plan worked. There were noticeably more of them. Over the next few days, I explored the islands and even found a small village. After checking the chests, I discovered emeralds and carrots. In one of the houses, I found an iron sword and armor, our very first armor set. I was also lucky enough to find an enchanting table and plenty of books. There was also an iron golem in the village, and since I needed iron, I decided to kill it. I chose to leave one cow alone for now and returned home. During the day, I gathered resources, and at night, I fought mobs while continuing to finish the house. By that point, I had already installed windows, and the house was finally fully completed. I moved all the chests, sorted the items, and crafted iron armor for myself. There was just enough iron. In addition, I made a bed, which now allows us to sleep through the night. The next day, I decided to build a nether portal. First, I prepared the area, then started building it, but made a small mistake and had to craft a diamond pickaxe to fix everything. In the end, the portal was ready. I made a flint and steel, activated it, and without hesitation, stepped inside. That's how we ended up in the Nether, where a huge fortress towered before us. And if you enjoyed this video and want a continuation, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you soon!